I wanted to talk about gestures and the line of action. These kind of go hand in hand. There are multiple videos that are out on YouTube already about both of these. I'm going to link some of them in the description. So for the first tip, it's about, when I think about it, it's about being loose and it's about being easy. You aren't trying to do anything perfect. You are just trying to capture a pose of a human body in a certain pose in a short amount of time. Sometimes it's 30 seconds, sometimes it's 60 seconds, some go to 5 minutes, but how I do it is by doing 10 30-second gestures before I start doing any drawings. This helps me warm up and to essentially just get into the flow of art, and it forces me to move on from one drawing to the next. And this helps so much because I am a perfectionist, so I can start to overwork myself on an individual drawing. Now, for the line of action, this isn't something that you inherently have to draw. It is good to kind of see or have a visual idea of what it is. So I'm gonna be using an artist that I look up to quite a bit. His name is Scott Malin. Very talented, really active in his community, and I'm using him because he does a series of poses of his character, Lucia. What you're seeing is how each pose has its own kind of line of movement, of action, right? So this is just how I see it, what I'm thinking about. I never draw it. Some people do, and it's not bad if you don't. These are tips after all, this isn't a tutorial. Some people do. So that's the first tip, just having loose drawings, loose sketches through gestures in a short amount of time, imagining where the line of action or movement is. So I'm capturing the feeling of a drawing. For the second tip, I want to talk about clear and for it to be easy to understand. I'm going to use my own example. So here are two different drawings, and the idea behind the silhouette is that it should be clear. So I blocked it in already, but when you block in these two different poses, it changes what it says about the character and the feeling. Having this in mind can help a lot because this helps with the third tip, about expressiveness. Having silhouettes helps with exaggerating and lessening the energy given in a character. It helps sell the idea, oh, this person is outgoing. It's about having a strong and weak pose. And both of them can be useful at certain times. It's just knowing to use one pose over the other, being aware and mindful of that. So just being able to differentiate the two different types of posing. Now, the last tip about ideas is a bit more of a conceptual one. Like, don't go into an illustration without some kind of idea. Prep, research, and doing this will help spur on ideas for poses. Some examples of things that you can think about would be how different characters would react in certain situations. You can also look up different things like techwear and character types, where it's accentuating that kind of that character's personality. Think of these beforehand helps so much because it lessens the amount of work that you have to do, and sometimes you're able to just go straight into it, but other times you do have to think of some poses and think of stuff that will be fun to draw. So I made an exercise for each individual tip just for you to try out and see if this works for you or if it doesn't. For gestures and for the line of action, I recommend you to do 10 30-second gestures every day for 3 days. Now, I want you to do it every day for 3 days, because every day you'll be able to learn something new from it, or just the repetitive motion just is a great way to warm up and to move from one drawing to the next and not stay on one drawing trying to perfect it. It's just you being loose. And there's websites, right, for you to use. For silhouettes, I recommend that you take 5 poses of like 5 images that have poses that you like or have saved or whatever, and then block in the body and see why you like that pose and what part of the body is like clear and what part isn't. Because while this pretty much only for like standing or not foreshortening poses, pretty much doing this will help you to see what parts are being like emphasized, and it can help you kind of apply that to your own art. Now for the third tip about expression, I recommend that you do 2 different poses, like happy, sad, or nervous or whatever, like just 2 different poses, and then over exaggerate it and under exaggerate it. So you're gonna have a total of 4 poses, and doing this is gonna help you not only think about how you would need to do that, like how you would need to exaggerate and under exaggerate, but it would also help you just know the difference and be able to be aware of which pose would be more suitable for a certain character or for a certain idea that you're going for. For the last tip, I recommend doing a pose with your favorite character and how they would react with a sword. This might seem a bit odd, but just imagine, would they be serious? Would they be like nervous with the sword? Would they be confident? Would they be cocky? Like, how would they react? What kind of person would they be if they were like, if they had a sword? Would it be the first time they have a sword? Pretty much just that like concept alone can spur so many different ideas, and that's just kind of the idea behind this tip, which is of ideas.